PHP, I wanted to give you a short video here to let everybody know where everyone stands with March Madness with only 7 days left. So I'll tell you about ranking. I'm going to give you a wild card as well with, I think I had Dom run 10 different MDs that could potentially compete for the wild card. It's pretty intense. And then I'll give you where we're at for the month as well. Look at this number here. This is the most important figure to be thinking about. Our biggest recruiting month ever in the history of the company is 1,380. We are already at 1,447 for the month, 1,447 for the month. This is not a question about cracking 2,000. This is a question about who's going to crack 500 in PHP as a team, how many people will crack 100, 50, 25, 10. That's the number. And then are we going to crack 2,500 recruits for the month, depending on the next week and how we close out. Let me tell you the most important figure here. By far, in my opinion, one of the most important numbers that we're looking at right now is 878 people have a direct. Let me say it again. 878 people in the company have one personal recruit. So if you're watching and saying, man, I don't have a direct, you're not a part of that 878, but 878 people have one personal recruit for the month this month, record-breaking by a mile, and we still have 1 week left. So if you haven't gotten your direct, you can still go out there and get your direct. So let me get into recognition about some numbers, and then I'll give you wild card rankings, and then we'll wrap it up from there. Top personal recruiters right now for the month of February. Here's who's leading it, and you can kind of see what team's leading everybody. We have 13 people with 6 or more directs. Nicholas Lambdin out of Paulette and CMX Bay Shops got 6. Adrian Baker, Carlton Bryant, Maria Screeton, Hilario Guerrero, all with 6 direct. Hilario Guerrero is the #1 personal recruiter for all MDs in all of PHP out of Ventura County. Hilario, I'm proud of you. That's how you become a rookie MD, by going out there and getting 6 directs. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Phenomenal job to you. The following names have 7 directs for the month. Richard Altema, Ikechukwu Ajunawa. Vargas is direct. I guarantee you, the more you do this, I will know definitely how to pronounce your name. But that's 7 directs for the month. Jonathan Myers, 7. Laurent Altema, 7. Alvaro Lopez, 7. Richard Natividad, 7 directs out of Jason's Bay Shop. 2 people have over 10. Kayla Chapman, 10 personal recruits out of Michael Bryan's Bay Shop. Great job, Kayla. And a #1 personal recruit in the entire company, Servando Marquez, with 11 base recruits out of Carlos Medrano's Bay Shop. Let's see who ends up being first place by the end of the month. Let me give you top 10 personal producers for the month. Number 10, Eatmans. Number 9, Michael Janot. Number 8, Kelroy Kohatsu. Number 7, David and Kayleen Gomez. 6, Yvette Figueroa. 5, Tony Martinez. 4, Eddie Campos. 3, Ken Cerna. Number 2, Maritza and Craig Thomas. And number 1, Carl Rodriguez out of San Diego at nearly 20,000 points. Now let me give you MD base recruits for the month, and I'll give you anybody that's done over 25, because there's 22 people that have over 25 base recruits in the company, record-breaking by a mile again. Liz Garcia, 25. Curtis and Spring Eatman, 25.5, tied with Jamal Muhammad. Great job. Coulter's 26. Brittany, 28. Ortiz, 29. Phelps, 29. Erica Juarez and Ricky Aguilar, 30. Great job. 30 base recruits. Candy Thomas, 31. Chris Hart, 31. Ali Rusek, 31.5. New record for her. Great job, Ali Rusek. Andrew Gaines, 34. Cindy Cobos, 35. Michael Bryan, 40 as a rookie MD, got 40 base recruits. Phenomenal job, Michael Bryan. Jose Marlene Gaitan, 45. Del Toro's 46. Alejandro's 55. That's 3 out of the top 8 base recruiting, all out of TGA. Matt and Sheena Sapala, 59. Lou and Rhonda Pimber, 61. George Palayo, 65. Rodolfo and Ceci Vargas, 88. #1 base recruit, 115. Jason Graziani, Dallas office. They ought to be very proud of themselves, because I think in the next couple of days they're going to break the record of 144. And who knows, they may even crack 200 base recruits for the month, depending on how they close out. That's the first ever to do 200 base recruits. They need 84.5 more recruits to wrap up that number. Let me give one number here that I'm most proud of. I'm proud of right now is Unity is showing fight. Palayo's got 65 recruits for the month in his base shop. The only person beating him is Rodolfo and Ceci Vargas at 88. And I want you to understand this here, everybody in California. I said this to TGA, Conquistadors, and BFG yesterday. If George Palayo runs a 1,000,000-point base shop before anybody in TGA, let me tell you, For the rest of your career, I will remind you that you had a lead to run a million-point base shop first in California, and you dropped the ball, and George ran it before you. But regardless, whoever runs the first million-point base shop in California, you will forever. When we write the PHP books, one, everybody who was the first in different places, those names are going to go in the history books. First in California, your name's going to be inked in the history books as the first ever to run a million-point base shop. I can't wait to see who it's going to be. Will it be Del Toro? Will it be Gaitans, Alejandro, Pelayo, or somebody else that we're not even mentioning here? But we will definitely find that out by the August event. That's what that number's looking like. Now, let me give you MD base points, top 10 MD base points. Number 10, Ken Cerna, good job being in the top 10. Number 9, Del Toro. Number 8, Alejandro Aguilar, 7 Gaines, 6 Ortiz, 5 Vargas, 4 Gaitan, 3 Pelayo, 2 Jason, and the number 1 base shop, again, Maranchina Sapala. They are number 1 in base points. Now, top 5 super base recruits, number 5, Del Toro, 141. Gaitan's number 4, 146. Pelayo 3, 151. Sapala's to 160.5. Jason number 1 at 193.5. And then I'll go right into top 5 super base points. Number 5, Kahindi. Number 4, Del Toro. Number 3, Gaitan. Number 2, Jason. Number 1, Matt and Sheena and Matt Sapala. Number 1. Now let's talk about team recruits. Look at the number here, team recruits. I'll give top 10. Phelps, 91. 9 different hierarchies, over 100 recruits for the month. Vargas is 107.5. Cindy Cobos, 135.5. Len and Tasha Cooper, 145.5. Donna Joe, 164. Del Toro's 183. Sapala's 183.5. They got a lead by this much. Jason Graziani, 198, 2 away from cracking 200. Pelayo's 252.5. Jose Marlin Gaitan, 271.5. Obviously, multiple people are going to crack 300 this month, first ever. And I believe multiple people are going to crack 400 this month, first ever. But I think somebody could crack 500 this month. And if you're on the PHP app, we learned one thing. The PHP app definitely works. I mean, you have to be a marketing director to see the communication. There is a lot of smack talking, and there's a lot of people that you just have to watch it on how it started, and then all of a sudden everybody came in and held people honest. And then there was a calm down, and then there was a spike, and then other people chimed in. Then there was silence from some people because like, okay, I can't say anything anymore because everybody was commenting, and you notice all of a sudden there was a shutdown. But there was a lot of smack talking. There's a lot of competition going on right now. There's a lot of pride right now. And one of the things I'm most proud of today, I didn't comment one time, and I didn't call any of our leaders one time to say this, say that, say, you know, some leaders will say, why don't you chime in? Why don't you chime in? I don't want to say anything. I didn't say anything, not one single time. I think the last time I've even talking to George Pelayo was 2 weeks ago. I don't think he and I have text or had a call in 2 weeks. Everybody that chimed in, here's what it told me. The days of people being bullied is over. Today, everyone's being kept honest, and everyone's a big boy and a big girl. There are no playing games. That was very obvious. There is no intimidation game. That was pretty obvious. You're either going to show up or you're not going to show up because we're going to show, wait till the next marketing director call, by the way. We're going to keep everybody honest this entire year because I see exactly what can happen with our company. I see exactly what's going to happen to all our guys. I see exactly how many $10 million earners we can produce out of our company, how many of our guys' dreams becoming a reality. But in order to do that, everybody needs to get tougher. And I'm so proud to see the toughness of our guys calling each other out, not letting anybody get away with anything. Well, you know, because of this. Well, because I don't care what you say, because boom, all of that. And if there's one comment I will tell, there's 2 people. You know exactly who you are. Commenting, respecting, nonstop. If anyone's will be removed from the MD group is when you don't respect your peers. 2 of you know exactly who you are. You're out of the same office, out of the same hierarchy. Aside from that, there was a lot of pure competition, no combative, excitement. Let's prove who's going to be the biggest. And it was led by pretty much everybody, which I'm most proud of. Now, let me finish up the numbers here with Super Team production, and then I'll give you a couple numbers. I'll go into the wild card. Top 5 producing hierarchies. Number 5, Donna Joe. Number 4, George Pelayo. Number 3, Jason Graziani. Number 2, Sapala. Number 1, Jose Marlin Gaitan, hierarchy production-wise. And then I'll give you a stat here to be thinking about. So I pulled up a number to see what hierarchy has the most people that got MDs with double-digit recruiting. By the way, if you have an MD that's only 50% to you, I'm only counting a half a point to you because you didn't produce that leader yourself. It's a national co-leadership, so you get to count half, and the other person gets to count half. So how many people had the most people that had 10 recruits in their base shop? Let me tell you who led the way. At the bottom, I'm only doing SVPs and up, and Cooper, if he was an SVP, he's not, he would have 6. Tied with MSM at 6. Jason Graziani, EIB had 7 with 10 or more in their base. Cornerstone and Conquistadors have 8 people. Nobody would have thought Cornerstone. Cornerstone has 8 people with double digits. Conquistadors, 8 people, double digits. These are marketing directors that are getting 10 or more base recruits in a month. That's you got to be proud of that. So 8 people. Unity, 9.5 people in number 1 hierarchy. TGA had 13 people who had 10 or more base recruits in their hierarchy as marketing directors, which is a very, very big deal. And now let me tell you about the March Madness, what it's looking like. First bracket, Jason Graziani against Tony Martinez, 354 to 95.5. He's got a big lead, but Tony, you keep showing your fight. You keep showing your fight. I know you're facing against Jason that's in a place right now that's scoring the most points. Tony, you keep showing your fight. Pimber's going against Brittany Pelaez. Pimber's got 173.5. Brittany's at 88. Both for themselves, they're showing a fight. Pimbers need to prepare themselves because next they're going to have to double their effort to face Jason Graziani. Alfredo Garcia and Crystal going against Liz Garcia and Javi Hernandez. Alfredo and Crystal 75, Liz Garcia 90. They got a 15-point lead with 7 days left. Alejandro Aguilar going against Chris and Mary Phelps. Alejandro 171, Phelps 92. If it ended today, Liz Garcia is facing Alejandro. Pimbers are facing Jason Graziani. Good matchup. Next bracket, Del Toro facing Carlos Medrano, 166 to 61. Del Toro's typically would come out the gate stronger. They have not. This is a good opportunity for somebody to catch them if they get casual, but Del Toros are beating Carlos Medrano 166 to 61. Cindy Cobos against Jose and Veronica Terrazas 99.5 to 69. I got a video from both of them that said who's going to beat who. Jose and Veronica Terrazas are determined to beat Cindy Cobos. Determined. They are determined to beat Cindy Cobos, but we'll see how that's going to end in the next 7 days here. Candy Thomas against John Mason. John's not, you don't really see a fight from the Mason-based shop. I think they have the second least amount of points in the entire bracket. The only person that scored less points than Mason is Richardson's have 44.5, and everybody on wild card would have beaten Mason 54. So anybody who would have beaten Mason's base, they would have beaten him. Candy Thomas 126 to 54. I would love to see a fight here. I want to see some. We haven't seen a fight from the Limitless base shop in over a year and a half. I would love to see a fight from the Limitless base shop, but at this point, John Mason and the rest of the people from the Limitless base, you're making it so easy for your friend Candy Thomas to beat you, and you're going to have so much fun when you go to that fast start school because Candy's team's going to go in there with that smirk on his face knowing they beat you guys by a mile because there's not an effort. So Candy Thomas, good for you there. Rudy and Rosie Ortiz, 134 to 65 over El Jeanette Williams. So if it ended today, Rudy and Rosie face Kahindi. Cobos faces Del Toro. Next bracket, we have Sheena and Matt Supala, 245, Juarez 86. George Palau facing Quanine. George Palau 218, Quanine 86. Eatmans against Hart. If you remember last time, it was a tie match. Today, Eatmans have a 12-point lead on Hart's 108 to 96. 108 to 96. Then we have Gaitan going against Jamal Mohammed. Gaitan 157, Jamal has 81. No one is really not, except for maybe a couple. Everybody is showing a fight, which I love seeing that. So we're going to see how Hart's going to finish off, because if it ended today, Gaitan faces Eatmans, Palaio faces Sheena and Matt Sapala. That is the matchup of the entire March Madness. If Palaio's face Sheena and Matt Sapala, you're talking one of the main guys that could potentially win the whole thing is going to be bumped out, but that would be the next matchup that would take place. Rodolfo and Ceci Vargas facing Richardson's, 249 points to 44.5 Richardson's. I just want to see a fight from you regardless of who you face. Matt and Jessica Coulter facing Erica Juarez. Matt and Jessica Coulter, 71 points. Erica Juarez and Ricky Aguilar, 96 points. That would be an upset if that took place. They're ahead right now. Andrew and Jennifer Gaines, 136. Fred and Christy Terrace, 80.5 points. Gaines would beat Fred and Christy Terrace by 55.5 points if that were to end. So if that ended today, Ricky and Erica would face Rodolfo and Ceci Vargas. Interesting matchup. And then Gaines would finish with whoever wins the wild card, which is only one person, because the wild card winner faces Gaines, or the winner of Gaines and Terrace. Now, let me give you something to look at here, and then I'm going to give you the wild card numbers. 4 people out of Unity, out of a TGA, are all advancing if it ended today. Del Toro, Alejandro, Ricky and Erica, and Gaitans, okay? If it ended today, I think EIB only has 2 people advancing. Jason obviously advancing. Candy, okay, he'll be advancing. But then Terrazas will be knocked off, and Coulthard's will be knocked off. And the wild cards of EIB, watch this here. The wild cards of EIB, let me see the number. Is this really happening? Guys, watch this here. 2 of the wild cards of EIB beat out everybody else on EIB, excluding Jason Graziani. Let me say that again. 2 wild cards beat Kahindi, beat Terrazas, beat Coulthard, beat everybody else who's an existing MD. The rookie MDs are beating existing MDs, which just tells you that's how the game is. As you get better at the business yourself, you develop better MDs who understand this game better because you're understanding this game better. And that's when exciting things start happening. You're starting to see that right now in Dallas. There's a lot of fire in Dallas. Dallas is playing chippy right now. They got a chip on their shoulder. After the big event, they feel like they got something to prove, and that's a great place to be. We just hope they're going to prove the numbers all around the board. Placement, licensing, attendance, quality, all of that stuff combined together. I'm certain they can pull it off. If it's important to them, they will pull it off. So let me give you wild card, because this is what a lot of people are wanting to hear. Here's wild card. You ready? Paulette and Siamak Sabatimani, 61 points. You know what I'm impressed with Paulette and Siamak this month? Let me tell you what I'm impressed with. They're not only having their biggest recruiting month this month, they've already made well over $10,000 this month. They're showing effort. They're about to crack 25. I like where they're at. I really like where they're at. And I like the quality of people they're getting today, younger, excited quality of people in that office that could potentially pass up some of the other people that have been there for a while. 61 points. Vinci Hernandez, 66.5 points. Good job, Vinci. She's in the mix. Marlene Colmenares, 67 points. Lorna Tracy, 76 points. Maritza and Craig Thomas, 77.5 points. Charles Cieslar, 78 points. Ali Russak, 85 points. Donna Joe, 87 points. You know who the top 2 wild cards are? Watch this. Michael Bryan, 133. Ken Cerna, 142. Let me explain this to you. The top 2 wild card scorers are out of Dallas office here. Okay, the top 2 wild card scorers are at a Dallas office here, 133 to 142. Watch this number here. Either one of them, Ken Cerna or Michael Bryan, would have beaten the following names. Let me give it to you. Candy Thomas, John Mason. Nope, Rudy Ortiz would have beaten Michael Bryan, but Rudy would have lost to Ken Cerna. Elginette Williams, Richardson, Matt and Jessica Coulthard, Ricky and Erica. Andrew Gaines would have lost to Ken Cerna, but not to Michael Bryan. Fred and Christy Terrace, Jamal Mohammed, Chris Hart, Curtis and Spring Eatman, Donald Quanine, Juarez, Chris and Mary Phelps, Liz Garcia, Alfredo and Crystal Garcia, Brittany Pelaez, Tony Martinez, Carlos Medrano, Cindy Cobos, Jose Moranica Terrazas, like I said, Candy Thomas and John. They would have all lost to these 2 wild cards. And today, if Ken Cerna advances and he beats Michael Bryan, because Ken and Mike love each other so much that if Ken beats Michael, Michael's going to be very excited, obviously. And if Michael beats Ken, Ken's going to be very excited. And that office is going to be very, very heated on what's going to take place. Look, either one of you guys watching this, either one of you guys, whoever advances, watch what happens here. You're going to face Andrew and Jennifer Gaines, or you're going to face Fred and Christy Terrace. If you beat them and you advance, then you're facing either Rodolfo and Ceci Vargas, or Richardson, or Coulthard, or Ricky and Erica Aguilar. Watch this here. This is exactly how Rudy and Rosie Ortiz made a name for themselves just a year ago in a similar competition like this. When they were wild card, they came out of nowhere, and then they made it on the Max 7 team, and they were on Max 7 for several months, and they made a name for themselves. And now they promoted 3 direct MDs, I believe, in the last couple months here, and they're rocking it out of their own office. And I think it's Rosemont. I'm probably not saying it right because you need to say your office more in Chicago yourself. But that's what could happen. So those are the wild card numbers. However, there is such thing called as it's only been 3 quarters so far. There's 1 full quarter left. And you know what happens in the 4th quarter? Crazy comebacks happens in the 4th quarter, kind of like what happened with the Super Bowl recently, where Tom Brady, who's a 5-time Super Bowl champion, this is like a guy running a million-point base shop 5 times. This is like a guy who makes, he's the greatest of all time. So the greatest of all time is in our industry would be somebody that recruits 10,000 people a month. That's the greatest of all time, right? This is the guy who's the greatest of all time, makes a comeback at a time like this. This is like out of nowhere, somebody makes a comeback here to start making a name for themselves. Like how, how Michael back in the days, before Michael won his 6 championships and he was recognized as who he is, Michael had to make a shot at a North Carolina game. All of these markers matter in the process of you being somebody that becomes a voice, because eventually, when one day I'm no longer the CEO, this is going to be 36 months from now, 24 to 36 months from now, somebody is going to replace me as a CEO. This company will be led by 5 leaders. And those 5 leaders, I am so looking forward to seeing who those 5 will be, to be the voices, the faces of this company. And here's what's crazy, and I'll wrap it up and let you guys get back to your game, because the next update is going to be a little bit more detailed. Here's how crazy it is. You know who could be one of those 5? You. You. I know you think, Pat, come on, I'm so small, I'm only an FA, I'm only this. It could be anybody. We have no idea who just got recruited in PHP. We have no idea how a rookie MD is thinking right now, saying, Pat, the fact that you didn't mention my name is driving me nuts right now. I'm going to work my butt off, get 60 directs the next 6 months to be competing with everybody, because in August I want my name to be recognized by everybody. This could happen. Pat, you didn't even tell me about running a million-point base shop in California. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to run a million-point base shop in August, by August, because I want to be recognized as the first million-point base shop in California. Hey, how come you didn't even say anything about Florida? You don't think Florida can run a million-point base shop? I'm going to run a million-point base shop by August, because I want to be the first in Florida to run a million-point base shop. Look, here's one thing you'll know with me when you work enough with me as the owner and the founder of this company. You know who I care to win? You. You know who you are? Anybody. So whoever's running a family and you're the godfather of family, guess who you want to see in the family win? Everybody. That includes you. However, the throne will be given to those who want it the most. Who wants it the most? You. Show us in the next week to see how you're going to close out this March Madness. If you're not even a marketing director or anybody, go get qualified for PHP. Go do something to be recognized in the last update video that goes out on March 3rd. You go do that, and we'll see you on the Leaders Bulletin. Take care, everybody.